So I get a lot of calls from folks about marketing topics. As a matter of fact, I think 2025, it's been the number one topic with prospects, leads, coaching calls, anything that I've been involved with. Marketing is top of mind. And wow, it's about time. It's about time this happened. This is a huge turn of events for our industry. It's been difficult for me over the past 20 years to get my channel, to get my folks, many of you, to really embrace marketing. It's been elusive. You don't understand it. It's been hard to make room for it because you had so many other things that you've been working on. And good for you to now realize that the last thing you have to work on is your sales funnel. And the way to work on your sales funnel, you're telling me, is you've got to get your marketing going. Awesome. That's exactly what we want to hear. So we chat about that, right? We have that conversation. Tell me what you're doing. Well, we want to do this and this and this. And I said, that's great. That's great. Hey, tell me about your mailing list. How big is your mailing list? Well, we don't really have a mailing list. Well, what do you have? Well, we've got like 7,000 contacts in our database. And I'm going, okay, good. But, we've not curated it. We don't know who's a prospect or anything like that. I said, it doesn't matter. I said, well, we really think there's only about, 800 or 1,000 people in there that matter. And, once we cull that list down, we could start doing that. So that's really the first thing we want to do. And I say, stop. That's an incredible waste of time. And it is detrimental to everything you want to do. If you've got 7,000 people on your mailing list, send out 7,000 emails. Oh, well, we don't want to bother people. Hold your horses. Yes, you do. And if you're bothering them, they will unsubscribe, and don't worry about it. Let them go their own way. If they're interested in what you're saying, they will pay attention, or they will tell other people about you. So don't cull your marketing email list before you start marketing. Okay. Let's talk about what marketing is actually supposed to do so you can focus on what's really important. And then you will understand why those 7,000 people need to hear from you. Welcome to your weekly dose of uncommon sense, helpful insights, and tough love. I'm your host, Tom Stimson. The Intentional Success Podcast comes to you through the generous support of Mertz Crew.
Mertz Crew helps top AV companies book quality AV freelancers. Your choice, your rates. We handle contracts, insurance, and payments. You save time, cost, and reduce risk. Start today at mertzcrew.com.
Now on to the show. Marketing is about movement. Marketing moves things. What is it moving? It is moving things, people, leads through your sales funnel. So picture for a moment a funnel. You got it. Yes, the inverted cone. Okay. Big end at the top, little end at the bottom. At the top of your sales funnel are leads. Now, you might have a bunch of contacts, but let's face it, if you have a contact, chances are they're a lead. Let's just say that everything at the top, every contact you have is a lead. Are they a lead for business? Doesn't matter. They are a lead in that you are known to each other through one form or another, and everybody is a potential evangelist. If your business plan, your marketing plan for the past 20 years has been word of mouth, waiting for the phone to ring, okay, referrals come from leads. So why wouldn't you market to your leads? Because that's where your referrals are coming from. It's not just past business. It's other people who know about you. So leads matter. That's the top of your funnel, right? And as we create movement, those leads trickle down, and some of them become, guess what? Customers and clients. They do business with you. They write you a check, which turns into gross profit, which comes out the bottom. So the bottom of your funnel is gross profit. Okay, that's money that goes to cover your overhead and create net profit is what we want, right? That's why we make a sale. Now, creating movement in your funnel is critical. Now, the biggest problem many folks have, matter of fact, anybody who says, hey, I've got 7,000 people on my mailing list, but I only want to market to 1,000 of them, is creating a huge problem. The problem they're creating is that for the volume of business that they need, they might actually just be defining a cylinder, okay, or something that's barely a funnel. It's barely bigger at the top than it is at the bottom. If you market to a very small group of people, you need a huge conversion rate in order to make that worthwhile. So your funnel could be very narrow at the top with a little bit of money dripping out of the bottom, or your funnel can be too wide at the top, okay, which creates a lot of difficulty of getting the right money to come out of the bottom. But maybe your funnel could be just right. And what determines if the funnel size and the movement through the funnel is just right is how you control your marketing message. And marketing is what filters your funnel. Your funnel doesn't filter your customers. So the funnel is it's not a sieve where you're only trying to capture the big jobs and scoop them out of the colander. Okay. The funnel is about moving the ideal customers through. So back to picturing. So you're picturing your funnel. You're saying, man, that's a nice looking funnel right there. Now I want to picture that job you really want to win. And let me guess, it's bigger than any other job you do. You're a $2 million company. It's a $500,000 job. And I want you to picture that job as a big cube. And that cube, basically it's a third of your business. So if you push that cube into your funnel, it's probably only going to get a quarter of the way down. It's going to be hard to fit in, right? We got a geometry problem here. We have a scale problem here. But picture all of your other jobs. If your average order is $15,000, you've got a bunch of little tiny cubes, and you've got some medium-sized cubes, and you have some slightly larger cubes. And then we got this big old cube, which if it hits our funnel, keeps all the other cubes from getting in there. Sound familiar? So the reason we talk about a funnel is because in order to have movement, we can't move everything. We have to move what's important. Now, it's great if you get that big job. I want you to get that big job, get that sucker out of your funnel, get it over here on the side as quickly as possible. Treat it like a windfall, treat it like a one-off, and get back to marketing to move things through your funnel. Now, picturing your funnel again, we got those leads at the top. Leads are potential buyers, okay? We talk to, or referrers, we talk to them through marketing. Now, they could be vendors, they could be freelancers, there could be your Aunt Agnes, okay? Any one of them could say the right thing to the right person. They could share the right social media posts. They could like the right thing. Any one of them can do something that will influence somebody else, and that's what we want. Now, Aunt Agnes has not been great on getting me the kind of business that I'd like her to get me, but my goodness, she says a lot of nice things about me whenever she gets in a little crowd. So everybody thinks I'm brilliant, right? Everybody needs an Aunt Agnes. But we want to market to all of our leads because you don't know what those leads can do for you. So marketing focuses on leads, and the goal of marketing when focusing on leads is to have them identify themselves as prospects. In other words, to create movement. And a prospect is somebody who has identified themselves to you as somebody who is not only a potential buyer, they are potentially a buyer of what you do. And that's what a prospect is. We can tag somebody a prospect, but one is presumptuous, okay? And if they don't know they're a prospect, they're not one. They're just a lead. So marketing lets leads self-identify as prospects. Now, marketing has an assistant in that once somebody identifies as a prospect, we can apply business development to those prospects to help that prospect future identify as an opportunity. So marketing will move leads into prospects. Marketing will also move prospects into opportunity, but business development can kick in and move a prospect to an opportunity. So our prospects are the key focus of churn in our funnel, okay? The confluence of our marketing and our business development is aimed at prospects to create the movement of potential buyers or potential buyers becoming opportunities. So you can actually talk about capabilities, proposals, potential projects, all those things that will turn into revenue. Right? Marketing's job is to create that churn, create that movement. We use things like calls to action. If we're marketing, we're sending blog posts or newsletters out, or inviting people to open houses or lunch and learns. We're inviting folks on, fishing trips or going to basketball games, whatever it might be. The call to action is, when can we talk about your next opportunity? Okay. So we're working with prospects through some fashion or another, marketing and or business development, so that when there is an opportunity for them to present to you, they will bring you that opportunity. Now, notice so far, all we're doing is putting effort on the top of our funnel. Okay. We have to pull these folks through the funnel. They have to make the choice. We can't force a lead to become a prospect, and we can't force a prospect to become an opportunity. We have to lure them through. Right? Now, all the things that we do that will influence their decision become very important. And marketing are those things that are working on them all the time, keeping you on the top of their mind, so that when an opportunity in their world manifests, they remember that they're supposed to talk to you about it, right? So again, we want to create movement. Now, once we have an opportunity, business development, account executives, now they overlap. We're talking about that opportunity. We're creating proposals. We're, hopefully winning the bid. And when you get that job, you have probably won, at the very least, a customer. And if you're successful, the customer will come do business with you again. What that means is the customer, once the job is over, doesn't leave your funnel, nor do they go back into the top. They go back into prospects. So a customer, who's somebody who could buy from you again, is still a prospect after that job is over, which means they're getting marketing and business development energy. We might also convert business with somebody who becomes a client. A client is somebody who plans on working with you again. A great client is somebody that brings every adjacent opportunity to the table to give you an opportunity to work on it. And if they have regular recurring business, they're very active in your space, then that job converts back into the next opportunity. So they don't move into prospects. Clients move back into opportunities, and you're already talking about the next job. Matter of fact, they may have multiple opportunities while you're working on a specific job that you've won or converted for them, right? And again, that movement. So who is working on the opportunity level of clients? That's where your account executives are working. So there's overlap between marketing and business development. There's overlap between business development and account executives, specifically when we're dealing with new customers. And we have account executives or account managers who are constantly working on our client opportunities to walk them through the next job and project to create that sweet, sweet, sweet gross profit. So movement creates conversions, okay? A lead becomes a prospect, okay? They self-identify. Maybe you reached out to them, maybe you had a conversation. They go, yeah, I'm probably somebody who could do business with you. Great. A prospect becomes an opportunity because they self-identify as, hey, we've been talking for a long time. I'm glad you called me. Here's that piece of business I want to talk to you about. Okay. Great, great churn. An opportunity becomes a sale. Once it's a sale, the job's not over. If as a customer, they're back into the prospects, which means they're getting marketing and business development energy again. If they're a client, they go back into opportunities, which means they're getting marketing and account management energy again. Okay. And that next job will come up, the next sale will happen, and we'll always be processing future opportunities. So it is all about churn. It's all about getting people back into the funnel at the right level and keep that churn going. So your sales funnel needs fuel. And the fuel it needs more than anything else is the marketing, because you can get by without business development for a certain clientele if you have the right marketing. And your marketing has to move those leads into prospects and calls to action to create opportunities so that your sales team can pick it up and act on it. But if you really want to grow exponentially, then you will add that overlapping business development that is focusing primarily on prospects, creating them in opportunities, working a little bit on retention and recurring business for those customers that are back into the prospect space. Okay? But they are an extension of the marketing, which is constantly creating more leads, which will create more prospects. So again, we want a healthy funnel. We want it wide enough at the top that we can market to a volume of people to create the evangelism and the opportunities that we need. And we want it to be correctly narrow at the bottom, so we're working with the best customers and the best clients at the highest margins. And without the top of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel becomes weak, and we have to chase whatever revenue happens to come our way. So thank you for all the visualization. Thanks for drawing some pictures. I could hear you scratching away, because it's important to picture how this works and what you're trying to move through it. So if you know that marketing is important to you and you're struggling with what to do next, that's a great reason to have a conversation. Give me a shout. Visit my website, trstimson.com. Send me an email. Click on the Let's Talk link. Schedule a call with me. I love talking to you about these folks. I'll help you figure out what your next step is. Maybe I can help you after that. Maybe I don't need to. Doesn't matter. The call's free. That's why I'm in this business. I want to talk to enough people at the top of my funnel. And if you're an ideal customer, I know we will do business one day. But we can't do anything if we don't start talking. I look forward to meeting you. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends. Appreciate the fact that you subscribe.
If you liked this episode of the Intentional Success Podcast, please leave a review and don't forget to like and subscribe. This podcast has been brought to you by the helpful folks at Mertz Crew.